speaking of quarterback, this is obviously the biggest question of this season. What are your season expectations for Jalen Hurts? And more specifically, what constitutes a successful year for Jalen Hurts in 2022? Lead us off, Ryan, because this question has layers to it.
Oh boy, does it. I'm not necessarily a big like, oh, he's got to hit 3,500 yards and 20 odd whatever touchdowns. I mean, all that is nice, and I think he has the ability to get to, like I said, 3,500, maybe 25 passing touchdowns or 30 total touchdowns. But yeah, honestly, I think it's just going to be what we see game in and game out. It's being more accurate. It's being able to see that he is going through progressions and being able to hit his targets in stride. And now with AJ Brown in the mix, and this offense seems pretty loaded. There's not going to be too much room for error here at the end of the season. And again, if it's only, if he kind of looks the same, or there's maybe only slight improvement, I'm not going to be too happy. I want to see a significant bump, just not only in a natural progression from year 2 to year 3, but because of AJ Brown, and the fact that we've added this major weapon. I don't think there's going to be any excuses for him at the end of the season saying, you vastly improved. You looked like you improved. You improved on the specific things that you have been struggling with. The accuracy, the reading, the instant rollouts instead of sitting there and waiting. If all of those are improved and you can really see the improvement on that, and again, the Eagles are in the playoffs, I think that constitutes a good season for him. And again, I think that's an indication that he'll be the quarterback moving forward. And especially if we get a playoff win, I don't see how he's not the quarterback moving forward.
Love it. Awesome job, Ryan. Odizzle Drizzle, love it, says Jalen got to throw for over 4,000 yards, 11 wins, and a playoff win to solidify him a contract. That is, we're going to address that in a little bit. Jonathan says, I think if Hurts isn't a top 12 quarterback next year, they should go look for a replacement. Too many weapons not to improve drastically. We're also going to touch on that in a little bit when we break down and grade this Eagles offense. Rob, what's your take, man, on Jalen Hurts, and what is a successful year for Jalen Hurts in 2022?
I mean, look, it's this simple for me. This is it. Put up or shut up.
Yes.
Like there's no more excuses. There's none, right? I mean, this is how Philadelphia had judged Carson. This is how Philadelphia judges quarterbacks, but this is a big spot for this kid. Now, I love his attitude, and I know everyone's like, well, him and AJ are friends, so that don't mean nothing. AJ Brown got $25 million a year. He'll play with whoever the hell the Eagles put back there. But it's got to be, just like Ryan said, it can't just be a little – it's got to be a drastic improvement in reading a defense, in hitting guys in stride, in showing a little more arm strength. But it can't just be – and I know people are going to say, oh, you're going to attack him. I'm not. But it can't just be making plays with your legs, running all the time. You got to be able to hit guys in stride. Like, for example, you look at the playoff game when he breaks out of the pocket left, does a great job. He's got to be able to see – and make that throw to Devontae Smith in the end zone. That can't happen this year. Those things have to be there. And if they're not, it will be time to move on. What's a successful year? For me, it's not a matter of stats or wins, because, look, everyone says, oh, well, they went to the playoffs last year. And look, he still wasn't that good. He wasn't that good of a quarterback last year. So, it's not all about that. To me, though, you have to be probably better than you were last year as a team. And you have got to show drastic improvement in those few areas for me to feel comfortable saying Eagles got their quarterback. Let's ride.
Love it. For me, obviously, it starts with the accuracy. Brian, you touched on that. And I think as well as getting it done against good teams. And I'm talking about winning teams. Jalen Hurts improved his completion percentage by nearly 10% versus his rookie year, but he's still ranked 26th in the NFL in completion percentage. You look at Jalen Hurts last year; he only beat one team, with a win. I know there's way like winning a football game is way more than just one guy, but just one team in New Orleans Saints with a winning record last year. So I think those are two big areas that Jalen Hurts needs to kind of wow me. I fully agree, Rob. Like you look at the game against Tampa Bay, that playoff game, Jalen Hurts was sort of exposed. He was 100% exposed, not being able to throw into tight windows. They pressured Jalen Hurts. They kind of just got in his head and rattled him a little bit with their front seven. So yeah, for me, my expectations, I don't expect Jalen Hurts to be automatically some great downfield passer next year, but I do expect him to take a big step forward. Like a lot of the ways you said, seeing the field, going through his progressions, keeping his head up, finding the open receiver. There were too many missed opportunities last year when Jalen Hurts would put his head down and just run, expecting pressure in the pocket when it wasn't there. There are way too many times when Jalen Hurts put his head down and instead missed a wide open wide receiver for a big gain. That happened way too much, and that can't happen. We need to see Jalen Hurts keep his head up, step up in the pocket, and attack that intermediate area of the field. I don't have much expectations like 30 yards or down. I want to see that, get Dallas Goedert going in that middle area of the field. Find Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, who thrives in that middle area of the field. That's something the Eagles offense has truly lacked over the last couple of years, and that's where I want to see him go. Baby steps, increments. We'll get to the downfield thing. I don't know how good his arm is accuracy downfield, but for me, I'm really excited to see him get a full off season with A.J. Brown and Devontae and build on that chemistry, because I agree, Rob. If there was this was a great draft for the Philadelphia Eagles. If there's anything we learned in this draft, is there are no more excuses for Jalen Hurts. Do or die time. And I'm totally on board with that. And what that means for Jalen Hurts, I think I'm probably different than a lot of people. I'm not the biggest Jalen Hurts truther. But for me, I see A.J. Brown, I see Devontae Smith, I see Dallas Goedert, I see the top offensive line in the league. It's all there. It's all there for him to take every single step he has to in his development. Let's get to some questions, comments real quick. Quentin says, which 2022 opponents are definite losses? Green Bay, Tennessee, Arizona, Indianapolis, New Orleans. That's Thursday, man. I'm hoping to do a reaction show to the schedule, right, when we find out what that looks like. But hopefully you get those teams, later in the season. That way you can just run all over them when the Eagles offense gets going, because we saw a sluggish start. I know the opponents were tough at the start of the season last year.
Yeah.
We all saw that struggle coming. But anyway, any quick thoughts on that, guys?
I mean, it's so hard, to look at this, but Tennessee's not a team that really scares me right now. I don't really know what they are. I don't know what they're doing. I'm very confused by a lot of what's happening there. I mean, Green Bay is always going to be tough as long as Aaron Rodgers is there, but no Devontae Adams. So it's tough right now. I think a lot of it depends on how the schedule lines up. I mean, I think when you have a murderer's row, you can expect to lose one of those. If it's 4 games, maybe you're going to go 2-2. It's tough to just kind of look at it by opponent. I mean, it's not going to be easy to go out to Arizona. Is it going to be? I don't know where the New Orleans game is. I don't know if that's here in the Dome. That matters.
That's home.
That's home.
Yeah, it could be. They were away last year, weren't they?
No, not last. They played them at home last year too.
Okay.
Yeah.
But look, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what New Orleans is. I don't know is healthy. And I mean, look, they got some firepower on offense, but it's tough. Once Thursday comes, you get a better look at that.
Yeah, no, agreed. I definitively can't say anybody's a loss at this point. Especially the 5 teams right there. Like you said, Green Bay, how are they going to look without Devontae? Tennessee, they just lost their 2 best wide receivers, technically, with Julio Jones not being there anymore. Arizona, they had some major changes. Indianapolis, definitely not. I mean, Matt Ryan, come on. And New Orleans still has Jameis Winston. So, like, these aren't anything that I'm necessarily going into them saying, well, we're definitely losing that one. I can't say that about any opponent this year, honestly.
All right. O'Dizzle says you can't blame Jalen, though. The first 4 games, it was coaching. Yeah. The play calling was really bad.
Play calling was really bad, but that's like saying that Carson Wentz wasn't bad that last year. It was all Doug Peterson's play calling. It was a mixture. They both stunk. And that's what we're doing on the first 4 games. They both stunk.
Yeah. It really wasn't until like mid-season when kind of Nick Sirianni figured out that, Jalen Hurts is more of a game manager, at least at this point in his career. And that's when he started playing to Jalen Hurts' strengths, and the Eagles were better for it. That being said, they also played some really bad quarterbacks after that first stretch.
It was week 8, right, when they finally realized that maybe they should actually run the damn ball.
Yeah,
exactly.
Take some pressure off of Jalen, and then he's able to do his thing a little bit easier. So yeah.
So Mallory says, I believe Jalen takes huge strides this year, especially with the addition of A.J. Brown. I agree. He needs to beat a handful of good teams this year, 100%. Rufus says, I'm not crazy about this year's draft, but getting A.J. Brown just speeds up the rebuild. If he helps Jalen progress, great. If he doesn't, then we move on with no questions. And you got to look at this Eagles offense, and the young pieces that are in place. Like a quarterback that becomes a free agent or a quarterback that wants a change of scenery has to think Philly is an attractive place to play moving forward with the young pieces they got going on.